Stacy with the Art Journal Life. I'm taking a breath and I'm just signing in right now to my iPad so I can watch comments. Welcome back from the weekend, and my iPad didn't open to the right thing, so hang on. Let's see if I can find I have to do it this way. Hang on, I'm talking to you. I'm here. So I'm trying to take a breath back from the weekend, back from all of my construction, and things are crazy. So here's what I have for you today. We're going to do backgrounds. I have a bunch of different papers. We're going to make different kinds of backgrounds. I have this heavy, I'm not going to use this one. I have this Fabriano cold press watercolor paper. It's super thick. So as far as making collage papers, things that I want to use in my journal, this is not going to work because, I mean, you can do it, but this is just not what I want. So not for today. We could do other things with it. I have this old ledger notebook. I'm going to rip paper out of here, and we're going to use that. I have some drawing paper, which is something that I use often. Oh wait, this is tracing paper. So we're going to do some on tracing paper. This is a big piece of tracing paper. So I'm going to take a couple of these out. And if I look like I'm rushed and I just got here, I did. I pretty much just got home. So there's that. But I'm here now, and I'm here for you. And then I have this paper, which is still pretty heavy. This is a Strathmore drawing paper. I use this a lot. And I use it for making zines. If you don't know what zines are, one of these corners, I have a zine thread or whatever, a zine list that you can find. But so this drawing paper is a little heavier than what you would find on your printer paper. So this is 80 pounds. So sometimes I do think it's a little heavy. It depends on what you're doing with it. So we're going to take out a couple pieces of these, and then I'm going to just start making backgrounds. Now I have some book pages over here. I'm going to use those also. So I'm just going to rip these out. I'm going to grab my paint here, and I'm going to crash, apparently. So let's go to this paper. I'm just going to rip some of these pages out of this book. Oh, this whole thing came out. And I'm not worried about that ripping off. So I'm going to put that over here and put the book away. Now I have so many things here. So I have my paints. I'm going to start off by making marks with water-soluble pencils, which are these Inktense pencils. I'm just going to use that. And I'm hoping that I'm mostly in view here. So I'm just going to take a bunch of these papers. I'm going to save that scrap. That's funny. I don't even know where that scrap came from, kind of. Okay. And I'm going to take any color. It doesn't matter. And I'm just going to start making scribbles on my page. Maybe something darker than that. Just so that I have more on here. Now you could see there's lines on here, so that's good. I have some book pages that somebody sent me that I'm going to use also. So I just want to get some marks on the page, on the paper. Doesn't matter what it is. I could mix this up color-wise. And I'm going to get out some paints and different kinds of paints. Actually, you know what now I'm going to do? I'm going to pick, this is a Neo Color 2, which is a water-soluble crayon from Caran d'Ache. So all I want is something that's water soluble. And it might run and it might not run. Okay, so I think this is enough to get started for now. So I'm just going to make a mess, and I'm going to use a bunch of different colors and mix it all up. I want to say hi to people. Hi, Estella. How are you? So let me just grab my paint here. I have a bunch of different paints. And I am going to look for, I had a giant white tube of paint someplace that I can't find. Here we go. Okay, so I have, mostly what I have here is some Liquitex and Amsterdam. So let me move this out of the way so my intents don't fall anywhere. And here we go. Okay, so I'm going to take this piece of scrap paper and I'm going to lay some paint on this. Mostly I'm going to use some white on this because I'm going to mix these paints with some other colors as we go. So I'm just laying out all kinds of colors. Now my Amsterdam paints have these really nice twisty, I don't know, additions. You can buy these on Amsterdam's website, and it makes it easy to twist and untwist to get your paint out and not have to fuss with the caps. And I kind of like this. Now I run the risk here because it's quite warm in my office today. It's like 74 here, which kind of is crazy. So I love these little, now this one's being persnickety. It's not turning for me. So I'm just going to put it out this way. Okay. Okay, and here we go. The other thing, I have some dirty water here because I didn't change it before I got here. So I just have this paint and these, and I'm painting them all different. So I'm looking for things that are different colors. So I'm going to start with this red. I am not like a gigantic red fan necessarily, but I'm going to add weight to this. And I'm going to mix this. And I'm just going to paint some very colorful type background here. I don't want it to be all, I also have some Payne's gray over here that I think I'm going to add a little bit of that. So I don't want it to be all one color, and yet I want it to be, I want there to be depth to it. So I'm adding black and white to these things. Now this is Payne's gray, so not black or white. It might be beneficial to have water that you can add to your, so you can get it to spread. Now I don't particularly like this, but I'm going to leave it. If we make it, we leave it. We can add to it later, right? So there's that. Now this I'm going to stick in the water. I love this little brush, by the way. This is a Liquitex brush, freestyle it's called, but I'm going to just let it soak in the water for now. And then I have this, this is actually a glue brush. You can find them on Amazon, and I don't know the name. They're inexpensive, and I just happen to love them. So again, some water, some white, so it's not all one color. Now, I think what I'm also going to do is a few of these I'm going to use, Estella asked a question. Oh, she said, I'm well, thank you. Well, I hope you had a great weekend. So I'm putting my house back together. So that's been a challenge. Ooh, see, now I got some blue in here and I'm going to just let this go. So there's my next background. Now, blue, I'm good. We're good. We're going to leave this. I have to remember to clean off my brushes later because I'm bad at that. So my weekend was filled with trying to put things back together. And now that there's new floors, I have to paint because everything looks so tired. That's the only thing I can think to say about it. So I think after this acrylic run here, I think I'm going to add more. I'm going to do some watercolors. I feel like that's what I really want is some watercolors and not necessarily all acrylic. So I'm going to switch it up here a sec. Okay, so I'm going to put that aside. So all I'm doing is making these colorful backgrounds for another project that I'm going to use later. Now, I have all this color here, and since I'm switching to watercolors, I'm probably just going to do something crazy like this. And I'm just going to smush it on here. Yep, that's totally crazy, but it's not a total waste of paint necessarily. And I have a wedge here somewhere. Let's see. I just put it back in my, so I might do a little dragging through the paint just to start some backgrounds like this. If I don't like it, I can add more to it later. I can gesso over it. I can roll with my brayer. Here's a brayer. So you can do that. There used to be a restaurant back in the day called Howard Johnson's, and their colors were this blue, turquoise, and this orange, and that's what this reminds me of. I don't particularly care for it, but okay, moving on, right? I'm just going to grab a baby wipe here and wipe off my brayer so things don't stick to it. And this is all I'm doing with my baby wipe. Actually, my baby wipes are a little dry. They've been here for a while. It's time for a new one, new bag. So that's all I'm doing there. Okay. Now I'm going to open my watercolors. And I don't really have, so I have this in my bottle and I'm going to just pour the water in and hope for the best. So I like to keep papers like this, and yes, you could do this with your gel plates. Sorry, I'm distracted by trying to open my paints, right? You could do it with anything really at all. So I'm just getting my brush wet and dripping water everywhere. And I'm going to start with this yellow. And I'm going to switch to this darker yellow. And now this is like a notebook paper, right? So it's thin. You can see this might barely stain this. I'm not sure, but we'll find out. I'm going to pull these out. So this is the drawing paper. So I'm going to do some blue. And actually, I really want more water. So I picked up some blue. Still had some yellow, so it's kind of muddy or dirty looking. this is what I want. And you can see that this Inktense pencil is almost resisting. And I'm loving that. So the drawing paper, the water, you know, it's not made for water, but it's working fine on there. Okay. And this is actually how I make backgrounds like this. I mean, background in papers for things that I want to do. So I am going to rinse off this blue, which is going to be hard because I don't have a lot of water here. And I'm going to try going for, let's put a little water on here. This is just a cheap dollar store brush. I'm not really in love with it. It's kind of a mess, but it works. So I'm going through both of my greens here just to get some greens on there, different color greens. One's a little more blue, one's a little yellowy, and I'll just let this dry again. So again, this is drawing paper. It's not made for all this wet, but it's going to get crinkly, and I'm okay with that. I just love that. So now this paper right here already has, let's see if I can get some more color on there. This is tracing paper, but it already has some marks on there. I'm actually gonna, I kind of like it like that. And I might take a little blue, make this look more watery than anything else. So this is how I go about making these backgrounds. Okay, now here's the book pages. Oh, this is another book page. I want to make sure my stuff isn't sticking together. I just made this way too wet, I can tell you right now. Now these are all going to be used for collaging in my journal. And I have a collage project in mind I'll be working on over the next couple weeks. And I will show you as we go. Okay, so that's it. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for some variations in coloring. Yet all kind of in the similar palette. I'm not in love with this, so I might take part of this and do something with the other part of it. This I love. This is very orange, but you never know, that might come in handy. This is yellow, and I'm not sure how that's going to dry, but we'll see. This became a mess, which I was surprised at, but it's the color choices. You know, your color choices are super important. And then this one, which was different, came out the same as that one, right? So I didn't really care for that. Now, this is that one that I used as my palette. And this was one that I used to roll off my brayer. So I think what I'll do is just fold this together and create more of a mess, but spread the paint. That's really all I want to do. And there we go. So this is how I make backgrounds, and I'll keep working these. I'll add as they dry. I'll add more colors, or if I don't like things, or I want to add some gesso or some darker colors or lighter colors over top of them. But all these will be collage fodder. So it will be things that I rip up, tear up, cut up in certain ways or in shapes that I can use in collage. So that's what I was looking to get here. I love this tracing paper, actually. And the back side looks different than the front side because this is the under layer here. And this is the over layer. So that's kind of cool. I'm not in love with this. I would rework this one and this one. But I really love like this blue one a lot. So that's good. And then I have this blue-green one that I actually like a lot, and this green one with a scribble on it. So again, these are things I'm going to let dry and I'll use again as I go. They're all ways to make pieces and things that you can use in your collaging or even as a background in your art journal. This would be a great way to start in your art journal if you wanted to do that. And having the book text on the page or the lines on the page is something that just adds interest and texture. And this one, again, this kind of reminds me of that Howard Johnson's. If anybody knows what that is, I'm really dating myself with this. But I'm not in love with this combination. So I probably would cut that out and use the rest of it. And that's it. That's all I got for you today. And yes, I got here late. I had a big day today, so I hope I didn't seem too rushed. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad it's Monday, and I'm certainly glad my construction is over. I've got a lot of painting, and not the fun kind of painting. The painting walls kind of painting, you know, with a roller. Ugh, I'm not a fan. So that's what I have to do, and today, this is the best for a quick project and a way to make mindless art and not worry about what the outcome is. So I hope you guys had a great day, had a great weekend. I will talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. I'm done.